we were going to have Mr. Doman do his athletic summary under the principal's report, if you're okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scott's reports tend to go a little longer.
Much appreciated. Oh. Good evening. I think you guys have the documents. Quickly recapping some of the highlights and the summaries from the winter. You heard some of the accomplishments. I'll repeat some of them because they are so good. But the summary this year, if you overall look at our winter sports and the accomplishments of them, was an excellent winter. Our boys basketball team was in first place in conference, and all other sports that competed in a conference tournament or a conference schedule were in second place. So it was obviously a very competitive year. We had our girls basketball team again was second, like all the other ones that did not come in first, and lower levels did very well. As you heard, the swimming team qualified 3 students for the state meet, and all of them performed way above expectations, and we're considered in the top 12 in the state, which is considered all state when you break down the state meets. So that's, as many as all schools that go to. That's just fantastic. The girls gymnastics team does not have a conference this year. It's the independent conference was kind of disbanded, so they're competing again against individual schools all over. And next year we're going to be in a conference rotation with some of the schools that we currently were in the independent conference were, and then some of the upstate A teams. So they'll be having a more competitive advantage going against teams that are similar to us in size and strength. Our competitive dance and palms teams this year qualified for the state, along with coming second place in the Metro Suburban League conference. They came in 24th when they went downstate as a team. So that's the first time in a while that they've gone downstate, and Coach Doyle was excited about that. And the numbers, again, were good for her, and she's expecting another good summer and moving on. Mike Reingruber in his first year as boys basketball carried on the tradition, so to speak, as they won the conference, and the sophomores also won their conference. So, and the freshmen were second. So the boys basketball, very high finishing. When you look at the numbers of our participation in the one document where we list all the winter athletes, basically our numbers in boys basketball, palms, cheers, wrestling, girls gymnastics, they stayed pretty similar to last year, pretty level. Nothing changed too much. Those are, again, pretty good numbers. The girls basketball did have a decrease of 5 girls, but they didn't cut anybody this year. They just had a lot less seniors, only 2 seniors, so that kind of dipped the numbers a little bit. With the youth program in the future, it looks as if we'll have those numbers coming back because they're obviously in the system in 7th and 8th grade. Boys swimming and diving had their numbers increased back to where they thought it would be. They had a little dip a year ago, and they're back up to 36, which is a very good number, kind of where it was 2 years ago. And so again, that some of the ebb and flows depending on the year, but they anticipate they'll be right in the middle of the 30s again. Looking at the winter numbers, so to speak, that just a reminder that form is kind of a work in progress. It's not a perfect accounting form by any means, but the number of students, as you see there listed, again, stayed pretty much close to our 5-year average, had a little bump compared to last year, and I just explained those different sports. The Palms went down a couple, but they didn't have their volunteer this year. The volunteer was not here this year, so we're hoping to get a volunteer again and maybe keep a few extras for an additional lower level participation. But again, the other sports were with swimming going up, were pretty close. And that relates, again, into the fees collected. And again, that's another work in progress. So the total, for instance, in the 17-18 year, that $33,272, that's currently, if you took today's number off the book, would be about $34,400, and that's due to payment plans that people are still paying their plans off and coming in with things like that. So that number, again, depending on the number of kids that either quit, got hurt somewhere during the year, your starting numbers aren't always exactly the same as your ending numbers for winter sports or any sports season. So that, again, is how that thing can fluctuate a little bit. And then injuries or something like that, there's some times where the business office will have to make a calculation and a refund for time in or out of the sport. So, and then the waived students on the bottom, again, was kind of an ebb and flow. It goes up and down, but it's pretty much expected amount. Any questions or? things.
I think there was one question submitted on that. Did you answer it?
Yeah,
It's
sure.
answered? Okay.
I just always wonder, why is, like, the wrestlers have like 40 meets and the swimmers have 7? Why is the boys swimming schedule always so light?
Each sport has limitations from the state. Swimming, in some sports, swimming is one of them where the coaches choose not to do their maximum amount of dates and more about their training to get to
Okay.
maybe, like I said, an invite, or when they call it, and there's words tapering, all kinds of
Right,
things you can,
right.
but they kind of pick out where they want to have it and spread it out and then their time frame. Wrestling usually wants to get as many in as they can. They technically have, it's not 40 some, but it's, there's a number.
They're 19 and 11.
Yeah, so that's 30.
Oh, I'm sorry, 30.
Yeah, but I mean,
Bad
basketball can have 35
So,
contests, so every
30
sport from the
compared.
IHSA has a maximum.
Okay.
Most of our sports here on the varsity level, we're at the maximum. There's a few, that don't, and swimming is one of them, but they kind of choose to do that. Sometimes gymnastics also, depending on how you're training, you might not want to go on a Thursday and a Saturday, because of the body, what it takes,
Right.
the wear and tear in the body.
Isn't it also probably the 5-2 record is probably only the dual and triangular meets?
Right, yeah,
Right,
their tournament
it's not
record,
the-
they do
it's not the,
invites.
invites. They do
yeah.
it
And
quite a
the invites
few.
count though.
Oh, yeah, their invites, again, they're in certain place every invite, but that's where they get the bulk of their, I would say, their competition, races and things come in those areas.
Any other questions this way? Any questions, John or Gina? Thanks very much for your
Okay,
time.
no problem.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Have a good night.